What's up, West Modesto? Karlha Davies here of Corazon.io, and I am here to introduce my co-host, Jasmine.
What up, what up? I'm Jasmine Corena, and I am part of West Modesto Community Collaborative, and we're here to bring you Vib'n with West Modesto.
What the heck is Vib'n with West Modesto?
So Vib'n with West Modesto is a radio show that's here to educate, elevate, empower the community with educational resources, community resources, upcoming events, and just what we're doing here in the community.
That's right. We're calling it the 3 E's.
The 3 E's. Just remember that for all the other shows to come.
Right. Educate, elevate, and empower. What does that mean, educate?
So educate means to educate the community with the resources and the events that are happening here in Modesto. We're here to elevate the voices of Modesto, give you a platform to be able to speak on the change happening, as well as empower, let the Modesto community know that the West Side is here and present for change.
That's right. And guess what? We're actually recording from the West Side.
We are. We're over here recording. We have a whole setup. It's really nice. I love it.
Totally cool. Very excited for this show. We'll talk a little bit about ourselves and what, we call this show Vib'n with West Modesto.
Yes. So Vib'n with West Modesto, just want to mention, is on KCBP 95.5 FM. So
Community radio.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in. So let's go ahead and start on those introductions. Go ahead, Karlha. You can go ahead and introduce yourself first.
Oh, you're so nice. It's because I'm the elder in the room. I got 20 plus years on Jasmine. My name is Karlha Davies. I was born and raised here in Modesto, really Stanislaus County. I grew up in Houston, moved to Turlock, Oakdale. My parents live in Empire, and now I live in Modesto. I'm first generation, which we'll talk a little bit more about. Latina, Mexican American, super proud. I'm a consultant. I have my own business, Corazon.io Consultants, which Corazon means heart, and I'm all about heart and passion for my community. And I have the pleasure of doing this with you.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you for introducing yourself. My name is Jasmine Corena. I was born and raised in Oakland, so I'm representing the Bay Area.
The Bay Area. But you've been here a long time.
I have. I've been here for 6 years. I went to Stan State. I'm also a fresh generation Latina. I'm Salvadoreña. Just wanted to let you all know.
That's right. Latinas, Latinx, we're coming all from everywhere. We're not just, in this community, there's a lot of Mexicans. Yeah. But we have a lot of other Latinx.
We do. And it's good to recognize that, because just to be able to share each other's cultures is awesome.
Yeah, honor it. We want to honor it, right? We're not all Mexican. We're not all, we come in different shapes, sizes, and colors. And
yes, we do.
Yeah, so it's super dope.
We're a rainbow. Okay, so at West Modesto Community Collaborative, I'm a project coordinator for the navigation program. If you haven't heard about it, we'll talk about it a little bit later as we get into the show. But I've been learning and loving the West Modesto community throughout the work that I do at West Modesto Community Collaborative, and it's just been an awesome experience. I'm here to just learn about what you guys want in the community, as well as just be able to give you a platform to just talk more on the things that we want to talk about.
And she's really being pretty, I'm a coordinator. She does so much. Not only does she run programs, she does social media, marketing, communication, events, all this stuff. Now this radio show. Mm-hmm. And you're 23?
I'm 24.
24.
Yeah.
That's 24. Crazy. Jasmine and I got to meet because I am, working with West Modesto through my business as a consultant. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we vibed and flowed on, right, was she went to Stan State. Yeah.
We're both warriors.
That's right.
Hashtag Stan State Warriors.
Stan State alumni. That's right. And
we are.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool, right? And we talked about being first generation. So first generation to me means I'm the first in my family to go to college. Mm-hmm. I'm also a daughter of immigrants. My parents were from Mexico. So they're farm workers, I feel like I'm the living story of so many of us here in this community. It's
definitely.
We come from parents that are hardworking and are just trying to do
very hardworking.
We also I learned the hustle.
Yeah, we do. The hustle life is real, y'all. It really is. My parents were both born in El Salvador, and they both migrated to the U.S. when they were little, 13, 14 years old. So it was definitely an interesting experience for them. But being able to have the opportunity and privilege to go to school, get an education, and now help the community is just amazing. I love what I do. So it's really cool. I do everything from my heart.
That's right. Corazon. I know I'm going to totally plug Corazon, but it's the truth. It's the heart. If you could do anything from the heart, be authentic, blessings will come to you. So it's super dope. And so we vibed on like, oh, you're San State, I'm a San State, you know, all that kind of stuff.
We did. She gave me a t-shirt.
That's right. First generation.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cute t-shirt. I wear it all the time when I go to the gym.
It's super comfy. I love it too.
It is.
So yeah, shout out to Stan State, you know, to our other homies that are, you know, doing the thing, getting educated.
Get educated.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that, you know, that's what sets us alike.
Yeah.
But what's different is that we're diverse, right? I got, again, 46. I got 20 something years on you.
I know, 24 here.
We were listening to music before the show to hype ourselves up and get into the flow.
Yeah,
and she was listening to
Bad Bunny.
I know, and I listen to Biggie Smalls, you know, so like, I don't know, but it still works, you know?
It does. We're having a good time.
We are having a good time, and we want you to have a good time as listeners. You know, today's our first show. We have with us some incredible guests from the West Modesto Community Collaborative.
We do.
Yeah, so we're going to interview them. And we're just like trying this out. We're going to go with the flow, figure out our flow. And again, the 3 E's: educate, elevate, and empower. We are here for the community, for West Modesto, just showcasing the diversity, just like us.
Yes.
Right? And bringing different voices. That's what our intention is. And we're excited.
Yeah, we're super excited. And we can't wait to speak to our guests to bring you more information on what we do here in the community.
That's right. All right. So let's bring the guests on.
Let's bring them in.
All right. So who's our first guest?
Our first guest is my boss, Executive Director of West Modesto Community Collaborative, Perfecto Mignon.
Perfecto Muñoz, el doctor is in the house, original Chicano, who's like been like leading the West Modesto Community Collaborative. Perfecto, are you there?
I'm here. I'm just listening to the two of you, and I'm so impressed with the way you are presenting the program, and let's go for it.
Oh, that's awesome!
Great, thank you.
So we were talking about vibing before, you know, and the music that we were listening to, and so we asked Perfecto, what's your vibe song?
My vibe song is "My Girl"
by
Billy Joe.
Billy Joe. I know. I was like, Jasmine, you know Billy Joel? Like, how is that possible? She's like, I know music.
She has an old spirit in her.
I do. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Credit to my dad.
I love music, and I love that we're on the radio doing this, you know?
Yeah.
So, Perfecto. So we already told people who you are. You're El Doctor, the original Chicano community activist. But why don't you tell us, or tell like our listeners, like about yourself, something unique, and you know, how you got into community work? Oh
boy, talking about community work. This has been a really worthwhile experience for me in terms of where I was and where I am today. I'm third generation Mexican American Chicano, and have come from a wide breadth of experience in terms of my parents being very community oriented, and I think that community spirit really didn't ever left me because of the things I used to do, and with my dad, go to the migrant camps and see what was going on there, and learning a lot about the struggles that migrant workers are, especially the Perfecto program, the experience that they had in terms of the environment, the living conditions, and everything that was around them. So that's kind of where I got from my experience.
The Perfecto program, maybe our listeners don't know about that, but it was during the 50s?
Yeah, it was during the war, World War II. They need workers, and the Perfecto program came in mostly from Mexico, and they first arrived in Stockton, California. Then they moved around in different locations, and then they started going down to the other parts of the Central Valley. But that was where the bulk of the Perfecto program workers went to. It started in Stockton because of the heavy agricultural community that Stockton was, or San Joaquin County.
Oh, I didn't know that. And you're from Stockton.
I didn't know that either.
I'm from Stockton, born and raised. Went to school there, went to high school, elementary school, Edison, Garfield, and Hamilton. Those are the schools I went to as a growing up as a child and as a high school senior.
So I know you said that your dad was doing community work. Talk to us a little bit about that.
My dad was involved in he first got involved in CSO, Community Service Organization, and that was an organization that was really interested in trying to provide opportunities and challenges that were going on in the Mexican American community. And through that effort, they were able to get a small grant from the Diocese of San Francisco, because that's where the diocese was at this time. And they created what they call the Council for the Spanish Speaking. And my
Concilio, right?
Right, the Concilio.
Oh, wow.
And my father was the first executive director of that agency, and he was there for a number of years. And then he retired and spent more time with my mother, because my mother was very involved not only in the community but also in her church at St. Linus Church on B Street.
Oh,
Wow,
nice.
so much history there.
So I want to be honest. Let's be honest. When your parents are doing community work, like I have a child, and I'm always gone, right? My heart is always with my community, and I'm trying to do good. So as a young person, kind of being brought up in that, did you ever, why I was doing this, or did it really from the get go, you're like, oh, this is awesome?
Well, my first experience when I went to a migrant camp for men, I didn't really want to go. My father asked me to go because at that time there was a priest named Father McCollin who was very involved with the agriculture workers, and he was doing a mass there, and they needed an altar boy, and that's me. I was an altar boy. So, but when I got there, I was just overwhelmed with the setting. I went into one of the buildings and saw rows of bunk beds that were 3-tier, not just bunk in 2, but 3. All it looked like the rows went forever. Looking at it from a child when I was 8 years old.
Dang.
And the singing of these men were just. I thought I was in heaven, because there was just. The depth and the energy that they put into their singing and their faith was overwhelming for me, especially as a child at my age.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
My parents are farm workers, so we didn't grow up in a migrant camp, but we had a lot of friends and family that did. And so I went to the ones in Balico and Modesto series. The one in series is like it's still there, and it is for those people that don't know about migrants and migrant farm workers and like the struggle, all that. I think having that lived experience it's life-changing. I think that for me and for you, Perfecto, right, is that it made us who we are, and we're like, oh, how can we help?
Yeah, and I think my parents were really the ones that really encouraged us to go to school, go on to education. My mother was a school teacher. She got her credential at UOP, and she was not a young spring chicken. She was. My mother was about in her 50s when she got her teaching degree, because she was a teacher's aide.
That's awesome.
And so she said, I wanted to do something more, and so that's where education became pretty prominent in our family. I'm the oldest in of the siblings, and the first to attend a college at UC Davis.
First generation. That's
Aggies.
So that's been my personal experience. And when I finally went to school and went to Washington State and got my master's and a doctorate degree there, I spent time just working at a university, and so lost a little connection with the community, because when you're in an academic setting, you don't think so much of what is going down on the ground.
Research.
Yeah,
like,
only research and
the theory
and a lot of writing and publication. Then when I retired in 2017, I had this opportunity to be interviewed for the position at West Modesto Community Collaborative. But at that time, I was thinking I was only going to come in as a volunteer. And
you're like, great, I'm retired, I'll volunteer.
And then before I knew it, I realized I was being interviewed, and so I didn't know what to say especially when Merle Bell looked at me and said, "You have the job God sent you to us," and I said. First of all, I didn't know what to say, because when she said God sent you to us, I said, well, he sent the wrong person. So, but I accepted the job, and I've been here since 2018, and have enjoyed every minute of it. There's been some challenges, but I think overall, with the support of the board of directors and the staff that has grown over the last few years, we've become very trusted as an agency in the community of West and South Modesto.
Yeah, I think one of the things I love about this nonprofit, there are a lot of great, incredible nonprofits in our community, in every community, really, definitely. People that have a heart for service and serving others. we have this initiative, Community Builders, that, you know, I get the chance to work with Jasmine and Perfecto and Jocelyn and all the great people, like all the staff at the West Modesto Community Collaborative.
Shout out to the staff. We love you.
That's right. We do. Blanca, you know,
Lily, Reina, Leaky, Mercedes. Yes. Gotta mention all of them.
All those women, you know.
So many.
Yeah, we're changing the world. But what I love about it is that this change work, being advocacy activist, trying to empower the community, it's rare, you know, in our community, because it's like we're service providers. Most nonprofits are service providers.
Definitely being part of a nonprofit and working for one is definitely a different experience compared to working for a corporate company or just at a retail store. Not saying that those jobs aren't important as well, but it's definitely a different experience. So
community work. All right. So Perfecto, that's like a little bit about yourself. I just learned some new things about you.
I know. I didn't even know that.
It's so cool. So, and that's how you got involved. I know I met you back when you were coming in. You're like, yeah, I heard someone I should talk to you, you know, and I loved being able to support the community collaborative. So tell us a little bit about, you know, the collaborative, how long it's been around. I know we talked about being service providers, what kind of programs. And again, in a different show, we're going to bring in some of the team and they're going to talk about the awesome programs that they do. But give us an overview.
Sure. The West Modesto Community Collaborative has been with us since organized in 2019. And I take that back.
1991.
And during that period of time, the organization was historically put together by ministers with the emphasis of serving the needs of the community, and specifically the African American community or the Black community.
Which our next show, we're going to bring in the roots of West Modesto and how that was formed. So we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, and what happened is that as James Anderson, who I had the opportunity to meet, he was on the board of directors. Reverend Anderson, he told me that on the board that we really need. This is the first time we've hired a person of non-color. And he was referring to me because I wasn't Black, and and so that we needed to support him, and that was a real compliment to me, because he was saying we're giving it to a Latino because we see the difference in what's happening in our community, and there has been a change in the community. We're predominantly Hispanic, and a large representation of other communities, and so what do? We have a variety of programs, everything from child to mortgage relief to navigation programs to Planet Baby, and also we
health
have
and fitness.
We have ladies that exercise in the gym, and the auditorium is not a gymnasium, but it's actually turning into one, and so it's been interesting to see the ladies coming in every day from 9 to 10 and exercise. And I think that's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
They're taking care of their health and their wellness. And their children are in school, so that gives them a time to kind of unwind. Yeah. The other thing that we...
Community. You're providing community for the community.
And the other thing is we have a large group of promotores. But let me talk about one program that's really made a difference for us, and that is the building Community Builders Project. Which is funded by the California Endowment and Bank of America. We got a grant from both entities to develop the community in terms of what the community should be involved in. A lot of the foundations, and especially in California and elsewhere, are talking about they're more interested in advocacy versus funding programs, because we're enabling them. We're not giving them the tools to make a difference in their lives. And so by doing what we're doing, we've become not only a program of services, but we're also a program of advocacy, getting people organized, telling them how they can better their community by having meeting with the police chief, meeting with the mayor, the supervisor, just a variety of things that are important.
We're providing opportunities for change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And at the same time, we're developing leadership, because I know I'm not going to be there forever. And they have to have a continuous base of community leaders there in order to continue the movement. The whole question of racial equity is important. What does that mean? How do we...
That could be a whole show.
Definitely.
We'll probably do that. We'll bring in some people to talk about that, because those are things that are uncomfortable for anyone really, to be like, because of our lived and our views and our experiences. But again, like the show Vib'n with West Modesto it's gonna be fierce. Like, and like, I mean, it is fierce because we're doing it.
Here to empower, educate, and elevate.
Right.
3
and
E's.
like, yeah. So like, you know, again, we're so glad that the West Modesto Community Collaborative is like, let's do a radio show, and that KCBP radio is, you can do it here
on 95.5 FM.
Oh, that's right. Look at us plugging it. All right.
Hey,
okay.
that sounds really good. You know, the two of you together. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Perfecto, for
You're welcome.
coming on and for really guiding Jasmine and I in this venture of
thank you so much.
being on the radio, trying to share the vibe, trying to empower, educate, and elevate the community to know that like West Modesto is alive. And we're in 3 zip codes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So West Modesto is vast. Like, I think, you know, west side of the 99, the freeway, you know, and
on the other side of the tracks, as you guys say.
That's right, on the other side of the tracks. We thought about calling it that, the other side of the tracks.
We did. We're playing with names and stuff, and that was one of them.
But you know what? We want to vibe.
Yeah, we want to vibe. We're here to vibe.
All right. Well, thank you, Perfecto, for
You're
coming.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
We'll bring in our next guest, Ms. Jocelyn Cooper. All right, hyping her up. Woo woo.
Woo woo.
That's right. So welcome, Miss Jocelyn Cooper.
Welcome to Vib'n with West Modesto on 95.5 FM KCBP.
That's right.
I'm excited to be here with you.
Awesome. So we're talking about like music, you know, and how you vibe. So what are your vibe songs?
Well, I'm going to name 2 because first of all, I like blues. So I'm going to go with B.B. King and The Thrill Is Gone.
Oh, I love that
And then
song.
I'm going to go with Mary J. Blige, my girl, and her song No Drama.
No Drama.
And I like all kinds of music, from opera to listening to my grandkids in the current music. So I know a lot of music.
That's awesome. Why do you love those songs?
For me, blues is just made up of my family. That's what I heard when I was young, was blues songs. So that's where I pretty much stick to a lot of that. So I would say blues.
And since people can't see, you are African American.
Yes.
Right? And so much of our lineage and music, well, all life originates from Africa. Let's just be clear about that. At least, you know, that's my feeling, my perspective.
Me too.
Yeah. And so you're African American. Do you prefer African American or Black?
I don't really care. To me, I know that I originated with African American. That's why I do that. But I also have no issues with using the word Black.
Yeah. Awesome.
So,
Great.
Yeah. So we got diversity in the house.
We do.
So again, I want to honor that, you know, the black artists, Black musicians, so much of our roots and blues really changed music and inspired people like Elvis Presley and all kinds of people. Still, like B.B. King is awesome. And Mary J. Blige, No More Drama. I'm not a singer, but I love singing. So I won't sing and ruin the show for anybody. But so tell us a little bit about you. I know, like, you know, your role with tell us a little bit about how you got into community. You're all about community. You're everywhere. I think I'm a community hustler, but like really you are. So tell us about you.
Yeah, I'm very involved in the community, and I'm very passionate about making changes in the community. And I think it all stems from my family. I have 5 people that I always credit my education, going for my education, my ability, my compassion, my empathy for people. And I always start with my cousin Alicia, who was the first Black counselor in Galveston, Texas, for high school and also principal. And her heart was education, and there's still generations of children and adults who call me and think about her, and she's been gone for years and years. So she's pretty well implanted in Galveston, Texas.
Yeah.
Then I have my aunt, May, and I admire her because she was entrepreneurship. She had her own beauty shop, and at that time, for a woman to, have her own or be an own business, and she ran it. She didn't. Her husband didn't run it. She ran it. So I think that was a good thing.
Period. Fire. That's awesome. Yeah.
And then my uncle, my favorite uncle, probably my only uncle, so it was going to be my favorite. But he graduated from Xavier University.
Wow.
But at that time, there was no jobs that he could get that was equal to his education. So he became a porter, and I'm sure people know how most of the porters had college degrees. But he was an advocate. He still fought for changes, and finally he did leave and moved into Menlo Park, and he did community service there. There's people that still remember him and my auntie of Menlo Park. And then my dad was in the military, And he was, at that time, could only be a cook, but he was assigned to submarine service. And even though he was a cook, they had to learn all the different jobs that, were on, that were part of being on a submarine. And he's in a book also. They talk about Black military, and he's in that.
Wow.
So I'm thrilled about that. And of course, with my uncle being part of the history of Porters, that had a lot to do with it. But everything I'm going to say belongs to my mother.
That's rad. It's here for the moms.
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom too.
She was all about love. She loved everybody, and she accepted everybody. And if you met her, I wish I had her personality. Sometimes she would tell her whole story about her family, and the next thing you know, the people were talking to her, and I love you, you're great, and so she taught us that there is no such thing as hatred. It's not. You have to learn hatred, and you should never hate anyone unless they personally do something for you. And I think the tribute to her was at her funeral. When I came into that funeral, that entire church was packed from front row to the back. And I didn't even know she knew that many people. She was always home with us, taking care of us. And also
that speaks to her heart, though, back to the corazón, right?
Know.
It's like people see that and people are like, man, she was there for me.
Absolutely. And in the church, she was active in Catholic church, and she had the archbishop there, and there was like 4 or 5 priests that wanted to pay homage to her, and so I said, when did she do all this? So love is
that speaks to the really powerful woman that she was,
yes.
though, that you as her daughter didn't even know she was like so loved and doing so much for others, right? And I think you're honoring that by doing the work that you do. I know you're the chair of the West Modesto Community Collaborative, and like, what is your role there, and like, why are you doing that?
Well, first of all, I was there brought in by Clee, who was one of the
Shout
founders.
Shout out to Cleo Belmore. That's right. One of the originators.
And when I first got to Modesto, I also came from Oakland.
Another Bay Area transplant. It's all right. We love our Bay Area people.
Yeah. But the first thing people said to me is, do you know Clee? And I went like, no, I don't. But you have to know Clee. I said, okay. So over the period of years, I met Clee, and we talked a lot, and she wanted me to be more active in the West Modesto area. But I was trying, at that time, I think I was trying to find where I belong. I went to different...
Finding your vibe. Finding the flow.
Yeah, because with working, my dedication was 2 things: education and my career, and taking it to a higher level to make a living for my family. So I didn't have a lot of time to do community service, but it was always something that was in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
So finally, when I retired, I said, okay, what is it that you want to do when you grow up? And I was like, well, I know what I don't want to do. I'm not here for the corporate world anymore. So now is my time that I can actually give back to the community. So Clee was the one that started me thinking about different community organizations. And finally I said, okay, I'm gonna come down. I found the time, and I wanna come and help you. And 2 months later, she was leaving. I said, oh my God. Yeah. But she made me promise, that I would stay and participate and help and make sure that this collaboration could continue. So that still sticks in my mind. But I'm seeing the growth here in West Modesto, and the community becoming involved with the leadership of the staff in Perfecto. And it is, to me, it's satisfying. And I always, in the back of my mind, I think about, well, what is your legacy? And I want my legacy to be that I contributed to the quality of life for others. And so I love that. Pretty much why I'm here.
Yeah.
And you're doing it.
You are. You're doing it, and you're not giving yourself enough credit. I feel like we should have a whole show on like all the things that you do, like which... KCBP 95.5 FM.
Jocelyn Cooper. I see it.
And the radio station is part of the Modesto Peace Life.
Yes.
And you're part of that.
I'm part of that.
Right. You're the board chair. Another. I know.
So many chairs.
I know. Right? How many? It's like how many hats? Like what? Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, we can have conversations about that. I think I just want to honor you that you're, Black, African American, that this community collaborative, that's where the origins come from. We are housed at the Martin Luther King Center through the city of Modesto. That's where you can find the community collaborative. You can also find them on social media.
Social media at West Modesto Collaborative.
Yeah.
On Instagram and Facebook and Twitter.
And like Perfecto said, the community has changed. Yes. It's evolved, right? The next show, we're going to talk to Miss Sterling Brown, who's
so much history.
We could talk hours and hours. But we're going to go to the roots.
We are.
Right? Like how West Modesto came to be. And it's a lot of, unfortunately, racism, discrimination that is still alive and present in our community.
Yes.
Right? And it's just, it's part of change and it's uncomfortable conversations. But we
have to have those conversations.
Truth, right? We got to speak the truth. And again, that as an African American, it's black, brown, white, yellow, whatever you want to do. It's like we're in this together. And that we know that change and evolution is important and it's hard. Like, let's just be real. It's hard to let go of power and see the changes and to put our ego and pride aside to be like, it's not about me. It's about the greater good. And that's why we're here.
Yeah. And that's exactly why we're here. And
Totally agree. And diversity is the one thing that West Modesto Collaborative preaches and that we want to encompass the entire area. So the entire community.
So I know we're over time, but whatever. It's our first show. And so I just want to say thank you again to the West Modesto Community Collaborative for, making this radio show
and giving us the opportunity to be here and just, like we said, elevate, educate, and empower.
That's right. Keeping it real. Vib'n with West Modesto.
Thank you guys for listening.
All right. Check you later. Peace.
Peace.